African states. We're delighted to be joined over the phone by Dr. Hassan Wagih, professor at Al Azhar University. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon to you and to all the people. Many happy returns of the day.
Sir, Dr. Wagih, how do religious events and celebrations like Eid al-Adha affect ties between African states, in your opinion?
Yes, actually, the feast is a very good occasion for happiness, for remembering the blessing of Allah. And when it comes to feasts in Africa, in particular, it has its own ceremonies, and there are some common ground among all African countries, but there are certain distinctive features for each country. Like, for instance, when we have at Al Azhar almost 40,000 students, many of them are from the heart of Africa. So when it comes to Mozambique, for instance, the celebration takes part by having the prayer of the feast, and then everyone is very fast to shake hands with the others, because this it means spreading peace, spreading good spirit. When it comes to Somalia, they like to distribute meat for the poor. And when it comes to Tunisia, they visit the dead in their graves to have mercy on them. And in all these countries, buying new dress is very important, and each country has its own unique dress. Like in particular in Morocco, for instance, we call it the season for buying gold and buying the traditional suits of the Moroccans. And when they buy these new ones, they go with it to perform the Eid or the feast prayer. In Algeria, it's very important to visit relatives, although they have certain cakes and certain food for this occasion. And in Union of Comoros, or what we call in Arabic Ghazr al-Qamar, there are sports competition like jogging, like wrestling, and also they put off all the occasions for marriage to perform these occasions and the ceremonies of marriage in the feast, during the feast. Yes, so you have all these kind of beautiful, distinctive features, but they all concern happiness and spreading peace.
Sir, how have geographical and historical factors influenced relations among African states?
Actually, when it comes to culture, I have been calling a long time ago, even through the floors of the United Nations, about incorporating what I call the challenge of cross-cultural communication. We have common ground in all cultures of the world, and we have to specify and identify it, because sometimes, and some other people look at differences as major motivation for dispute and for hatred, for wars. But when it comes to cultures, it's very important to study cultures, to study other cultures, and to identify the great common ground that really all cultures should have, and they have already. So as you can stand on these common ground and build the peace. So this is a lesson that I can glean from that.
Sir, what cultural differences affect the celebrations among African states?
Could you repeat the question, please?
What are the cultural differences among African states? How is it featured in celebrations between different African states?
Yes, as I've told you, there are common ground, like having new dresses, certain kind of cakes, and has different names and different ingredients. But when it comes to differences, yes, everyone is celebrating the feast his own way. Like, for instance, in Nigeria, you can find public figures and well-known people walk in the streets with musical bands and spreading good food wherever they go. When it comes to Tunisia and to Egypt and to Morocco, all of them have distinctive features, but they have the common ground of celebrating the feast.
Dr. Wagih, how has the coronavirus pandemic affected the celebrations during the past 2 years?
Yes, actually, when it comes to this terrible thing that really caused the world to lock down, yes, I think it impacted the economy of all the countries. It impacted the free move. And there are some countries who really were very good to handle this epidemic, and some other countries that really care not about what's happening. So the coronavirus spread. And unfortunately, there is a second wave, they say, in the World Health Organization. So I hope that each one of us who is listening is to come back to regulated behavior and have a mask and have cautions and take into account all the things that the whole World Health Organization is saying about that. And I hope there will not be spread as it was before.
Yes. Well, sir, how would you describe Egypt's African dimension? Is it about the proximity, land proximity, or is it diplomatic ties, or does it have more into that?
You know, since very early in history, even during the reign of Muhammad Ali, and of course the pharaohs before all of them, there are three circles that really govern the behavior of the Egyptian diplomacy in recent decades and also in the past. The first circle is Africa. This is our depth. This is the Nile river, which connects and should connect all the people together, whether in Egypt, in Sudan, in Ethiopia, wherever it goes. And also, there is the circle of Africa and the circle of the other world and the Mediterranean circle. Actually, Africa is the most important circle because it is our natural depth, and we are an African country. And President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, since he assumed power, he really cared very much to reconnect Egypt with its depth with African countries, and we have witnessed many conferences and many exchange of visits between the president and other presidents, and the Egyptian leadership is very keen to enhance all good relations with all African countries and spread peace, security, and this is what would unite us all, and this what would let us have a win-win approach. Our continent is very rich. It is a hope for the entire world, and the sons and daughters, men and ladies of Africa have to cooperate and have to have good relations, excellent relations among themselves, because Africa, if they are united, Africa is the future for the entire world.
Yes, well, sir, how do you think we can further enhance relations among African countries, not only on the political and economic levels, but also on the cultural level?
Yeah, on the cultural level, yes, you have to have, we have in Aswan a summit that really concerned about cross-cultural communication and enhancing that. So this is a very good example for it. But again, when it comes to cultural enhancement, usually cultural enhancement comes with exchange of sports, and the most important thing, exchange of educational visits, fellowships. Like when I tell you that in Al-Azhar, we have almost like 40,000 people from different countries of the world. Many of them are from Africa, and I will tell you that we are one of the outstanding students. They are very regulated. They really impressed us in so many situations. And I think this is the way we can get to know our culture and we can get to know their culture. I think education is a secret word or the most important word when it comes to enhancing of cultural ties among countries.
Yes, well, I would like to thank you very much, Dr. Hassan Wagih, Professor of International Relations at Al-Azhar University. Many thanks for your insight and happy Eid. And dear viewers, now we move on to our next report. The Minister of International Cooperation made the call during a meeting with the representative of the